everyone. I hope that you all had a blessed Yule and a wonderful Christmas. As you know, the start of the new year is coming up, so I wanted to make sure that I at least got the weekly reading done, but I am definitely going to try to do the yearly forecast reading probably about Tuesday or Wednesday of the upcoming week. This past week has just been so busy, I haven't had time to actually sit down and do it. So, but like I said, I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and a very blessed Yule. Let me go ahead and show you what I've got out for the reading today. Over here, as always, I have my white tea light candle burning to represent spirit, yours, mine, and spirit in general, or, you know, God and Goddess, whatever name you give to spirit. Next to that, I have my beautiful selenite, which attracts all kinds of positive energies. Black tourmaline to deflect negativity. Right here I have a garnet, which is a really powerful grounding stone. As the new year approaches, I know for myself and for a lot of people, it's a time to celebrate and kind of get caught up in living in the good feelings that are going around at this time of year. So to have something to keep you grounded, I think, is kind of a necessity around this time of year. So that's why I included that in this reading. Right behind it, I have my beautiful turquoise to represent the divine or spirit. Gold tiger's eye for strength, stamina, courage, all of that good stuff. Fluorite, which balances energies. And back here I have my obsidian, which, if I remember correctly, wanted to be part of the reading for last week. Obsidian is a very good protection stone, but it's also a wonderful stone to use for divination, particularly scrying. For when you feel like you need a little bit more insight into a situation. So based on what I've been getting just in the past couple weeks between readings and the crystals and incense that have been wanting to be part of the readings, I think that this upcoming year is going to be very, very energetically charged. I mean, extremely energetically charged. Whether it's emotional, spiritual, or mental, there's going to be a lot of energy that will be going around, passing from person to person, from place to place, that kind of thing. So I think that is something that we should all be prepared for, is just having that intense amount of energy around and, you know, figuring out how you want to deal with it. Next to that, I have my beautiful amethyst for psychism and clairvoyance. Over here I have peacock ore, which is good for divination, psychism, clairvoyance, all of that, but it's also really good for overcoming obstacles that are set in your path, for breaking down barriers. And over here I have my beautiful clear quartz crystal for clarity. And over here, in this new incense burner that I have spiritual incense. That's the actual name of it, spiritual incense burning, which I use when I feel like there's a lot of energy around. It kind of soothes and calms and, you know, really helps to interpret and channel the energies in a very positive way. So that is why I have that included in the reading today. And the cards that I decided to go with are the Wild Wisdom of the Fairy Oracle by Lucy Cavendish. This deck is one that I don't use very often. For me, it's a particularly quiet deck. So when it decides to be read like this, I always take the messages very, very seriously, because these cards are not as talkative as other decks that I have, like the Earth Magic deck, or, you know, the Archangel Tarot, or anything like that. So let's go ahead and get started. For Monday and Tuesday, we have Snail's pace, slow down, grounding, listen for the heartbeat of the earth and subtle energies. So this is what I was already kind of touching on, just looking through the different crystals and the incense and stuff, and looking at past readings, that there's going to be a lot of energy going around. It's just going to be very, very intense, and so it's going to be very important that you keep yourself grounded, so that you don't become overwhelmed or, make yourself sick or, lash out at somebody over something really stupid like parking in your parking spot so you have to park one space over. That kind of thing is what we want to avoid. That's why we have to stay grounded when there is this much energy flowing around. So if you are, so if you are particularly sensitive to various psychic energies, then having some kind of grounding stone and some kind of protecting stone with you at all times, just keep it in your purse or in your back pocket, or, if you wear jewelry, having a necklace made of those particular crystals would be extremely helpful for you at the beginning of this coming year. So, and we're definitely going to be feeling it over Monday and Tuesday because it's the last 2 days before New Year's Eve, before we get into the new year. So it's going to be kind of building a little bit more every day until we get into the new year. So, alrighty, let's look at the middle of the week. We have Acorn's invitation, touch, exchange, and connection. Don't do that to me. So, okay, with the beginning of the week where we feel all of this different energy, once we get into the new year, so far this winter has actually been pretty mild compared to what meteorologists predicted it to be. So if at the beginning of the year the weather is still nice, it will be very, very helpful for you to spend a little bit of time outside. Step out for 5 minutes on your lunch break, or if you have a screened-in porch like I do, go sit out there for 5 or 10 minutes, before your day starts or after you get home. If you're a stay-at-home mom, try to get the kids out and do fun activities. Make little fairy decorations for your yard. Decorate your trees for, spring. Try to invite spring in. And I think that that's what this card is all about, is getting ready for the upcoming spring season, which I know won't happen for a few months, but the way that nature works is that as one season starts, you're prepping for the next season. When summer starts, you see all of the animals, going around collecting food and finding mates to settle down with for the winter. And so that's kind of where we're at right now, is the energies that are going around are very, I don't want to say primitive or primal, but very animalistic, in that they're very instinctive kind of energies. So the way that you react to them will be it'll be your gut reaction. And so, like I said, spend a little bit of time outside, keep yourself grounded. If it's, if the weather's nasty where you are, just pull up the blinds and focus on what's happening outside. Stay inside where it's warm, but try to focus on the changes that are happening and how they're affecting you personally, and how you can try to kind of balance what's happening with you with what's happening outside, if that makes any sense. So for the weekend, we have Gossamer Princess, communication, relationship, work to be done. So with the start of the new year, a lot of people like to make New Year's resolutions. I personally am not the kind of person to do that, because I don't like setting a goal for myself and then not reaching it. So what I do is I come up with ideas that I can work on throughout the year and try to break them into little bitty steps. And I don't set it to be done by the end of the year, but steps like 1 through 3 I want to get done. And then there's like 1 or 2 steps more that I can do the year after if I don't get that particular goal completed. So towards the end of the week, after we have, gone through a lot of the energy changes and, spend a little bit of time contemplating what's happening in the world around us, over the weekend is the time to sit down and really reflect upon it. I know that this card says relationship work needs to be done. If you are in a romantic relationship, definitely focus on that, because when you're in a romantic relationship, the way that the other person sees you can influence how you see yourself. However, if you are not in a romantic relationship, then the relationship that you'll be focusing on is your relationship with yourself and with the world in general around you. The environment, your family, your children, your coworkers, things like that, how you relate to the world around you. Either way, the weekend is going to be a time for reflection on the week that, we just got through. All of the different energies, stepping into the new year, all of that. I mean, I still can't believe that 2014 is almost over. It feels like, last month was February. But so for this week, what we're seeing is just a lot of different types of energies going around and the need for grounding and being able to see more clearly what needs to be done in the coming months, getting ready for the for the spring season. And once we get into spring, then we'll be focusing on what's to come in the summer, things like that. So just a lot of different changes are going to be happening this week. And remember that the way that you respond to these changes defines who you are, rather than what's happening to you defining who you are. So I really hope that this helps you guys. And like I said, I will try to get the yearly forecast reading done Tuesday or Wednesday, one of those 2 days. So if I don't see you before, I will see you then. Blessed be.